Hello everyone, it's Dr. Vinay from Northwestern Hair. In today's video, I want to talk to you about concealing your procedure, whether it's FUE or micro FUE, and how that can be different than a discrete FUE where the whole purpose is to hide the procedure in totality. You don't have to get a discrete FUE to hide your procedure. There are techniques we can use in FUE and micro FUE to make the procedure really inconspicuous. It does require a couple characteristics of your hair to do so, however. If you have long hair, it is quite an advantage, because that means that instead of shaving the back and sides of your head and having that area be short and maybe a little bit noticeable for the first 10 to 14 days, if you have long hair, we can actually just cut a block of hair and we can fold hairs over it such that the actual donor site is concealed. Now, you do see the implantation of grafts, those little stubby hairs. If we're advancing the hairline, those will still be visible. If your hairs are not totally long, but they are still some good length, sometimes we can take that block and split it up into little strips. That means we can extract hairs. We have a little bit less area, so we can get less grafts. However, shorter hairs can cover that area pretty easily. If your hair is of that appropriate length, we'll let you know prior to procedure, and if your graft count is not exuberant, we can likely consider your procedure. Here's what that means. The third technique is what usually is called a no-shave technique. It's the very traditional means of hiding and concealing a procedure outside of our clinic. In that case, what we're doing in the back of your head is we're actually looking for a group of hairs that are relatively good for the transplantation. We're only shaving that little spot. So if you have hairs that are relatively longer, it can fold over to cover that little hole. Now, the problem with this procedure, as well as the strip, is that can look a little choppy. People won't see you with the buzz cut. However, the back won't look perfect after this. And since we're working through the hairs, it may not be totally symmetrical, but it is a good way to kind of hide the procedure. Now, in all those cases, the hairs we transplant are short, so they will be visible where they're implanted. If we are moving forward the hairline, your natural hairs will not cover them, and the procedure from the standpoint of the insertion site will still be present. Discrete FUE is a totally different technology. First, it starts with using the micro technique of vibration and suction. This means that we don't have a spinning blade to catch hairs. We don't need to shave any hairs around the one we want. We can just go get that exact hair. We also have the ability to not only grab the hair as a short stubble, but also at its full length, such that when we're advancing the hairline, we can actually implant a full length hair and we can conceal that part of your procedure. So you can literally go through the entire hair transplant process and no one would know except for yourself. So in summary, there are ways to conceal your procedure with an FUE and micro FUE. Discrete is obviously the ultimate way of doing that, but to help save costs, if your hairs are long enough, we may be able to conceal your procedure.